Today we are going to talk about your energetic boundaries, how to hold boundaries on a healing journey. Hello, my name is Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. And if this is the first time you're here, this channel is dedicated to helping people heal from chronic illness. So if you're excited to be here, please hit the like button. And if you receive value from this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Most of us who end up with chronic illness, any kind of a condition, any kind of a chronic condition, even emotional chronic conditions, anxiety conditions, anything that you are struggling with, whether it's mental, physical, or emotional. Most of us tend to share similar qualities. And these are qualities where we don't have a strong sense of self. And I'm going to do a video coming out very soon about the self and being the authentic self. But many of us have lost pieces of ourselves, right, to emotional traumas. We've lost pieces of ourselves, pieces of our dreams to other people. Maybe our boundaries are weaker, right? They seem to be weaker and our energy slips out. Our energy, our spirit, really, our soul, sort of slips out to other things. This could be other people, other situations that we're losing energy to. Our thoughts can drain us of our energy. We tend to be worriers. So our worries and all of this energy that we put in to worrying about the future and catastrophizing drains us. We have weak boundaries and our energy is slipping out of our vital being, right? Of the self. We need all our energy intact in order to heal. So let's talk about some of the common ways that we are losing this vital energy and figure out how we can put strong boundaries in place so that we hold this energy within us. Because when our energy isn't leaking all over the place, right, we're basically hemorrhaging, bleeding, thinking of it as a cut, really, and the blood is pouring out of us in different areas, okay? Because we're losing energy here, we're losing blood here, we're losing blood here. We might be hemorrhaging, okay? And that is when we lose all our energy. And really when we lose energy, we lose power. We lose our personal power. And this is all contained in the sense of self. So this video will be coming soon. But for now, let's talk about how we can stop hemorrhaging, how we can stop the bleeding, how we can put up boundaries so that the energy doesn't continue to leak out and we lose it to things, because we need all of this energy to go to healing. We can't afford for our energy to be all over the place in different places, right, without our permission. When we use our energy, we want to be consciously putting energy into something, choosing to have our energy go into things, not unconsciously leaking our energy because we hold weak boundaries. So yesterday, somebody gave me a comment saying that they lose a lot of personal energy to message boards, to other people who are sick. And so since that inspired this video, let's go ahead and take a look at that first. Many of us, when we are sick, have weak boundaries. We have weak energy, and we're looking for saviors, right? We don't have a strong sense of self. We're looking for others to tell us what to do. That's why you're here on this video. Now, don't get triggered by this. I know this can trigger a lot of people. It's okay to look for answers, to want help, to ask for help. I'm not saying don't look for answers, don't express that you need help, and don't ask for help. That is not what this video is about. When we need a savior, when we need answers, when we need and want someone to swoop in and give us the answer, this often just means by default that we haven't built up enough power within ourselves or our strong sense of self to be able to rely on ourself to fix this problem. And there's no shame or guilt in that. We're all at different stages on our journey. But what often happens is, in the reaching out for help to people who have been through it, right, to qualified people, to people, maybe we need help with our emotions, and so we want to reach out to a therapist, or maybe we need help with our physical body. And so we reach out to a naturopathic doctor or whatever it is. These are all fine things to do. These are good things to do. But what often happens is we might not get the exact answers that we're looking for. And so we widen our net and we reach out to help further and further. We begin to reach out to people who are in the same place as we are for help. Those people do not have the answers. If they did, they would already be healed. What ends up happening in that situation when we're joining these message boards, and I really dislike healing message boards and communities, not because I don't think they can be helpful, but because most often I find that people who are complaining on message boards and forum boards about their situation often have horror stories to report. They often say, there's no cure for this. I've been trying for years, right? They give the worst case scenarios. I've been sick for 30 years. Nothing's helped. I've done all these things. Like, it's impossible. We can't do it. So they often come with an injured spirit. They're also looking for help. But what you get back when you go to these people, you think you're connecting. You think you're building relationships with people who understand what it's like to be in your situation. And we all need that. So we start to look for that, right? First, we start to look for help. Then we find people who are in our situation. And we start to form bonds with these people online. We've never met them, but they seem to understand us more than our own family and friends, more than the people in our life. And when we don't have our own strong sense of love, self-love, being able to meet our own needs, we really rely on these communities to fill the void within us. We're looking for connection. We're looking for love. We're looking for belonging. We're looking for sympathy. We're looking for empathy. We're looking for understanding. And we don't feel we can get this sympathy, understanding, acknowledgement, validation, a reflecting back of the pain and suffering, the understanding, the acknowledgement that, yes, I see you. Yes, I understand you. Yes, I validate what you're telling me as truth. Okay, often we hear from doctors or specialists or our family and friends that they don't understand, or they don't have time to listen, or they can't understand, or they just don't get. Nobody who's not been in this situation can't understand it, just doesn't get it. And we're looking for this sense of validation, understanding, acknowledgement, and then belonging. Healing can often end up being a very, very lonely road. And so we're looking for love, we're looking for connection, we're looking for belonging, and we're looking for it in the wrong places. Because ultimately we want this from the people we love the most, our family and our friends. But when we can't get it, we start to go to strangers for it, instead of what we really need to do to build up the self is to ourselves for it. We need to instill the sense of love and belonging and acknowledgement and security and understanding and validation from ourself, right? Because then we're building up this strong sense of self that we need in the world. And the reason why message boards can be so detrimental to this sense of self, to creating a new identity and instilling new beliefs in your life that are going to be the identity and the beliefs that get you to healing. When you're stuck around people who are also in quicksand, who are only sharing the negatives, mostly because they want validation, they want connection, and they want understanding. They want sympathy. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. But when we receive these, we are seeing the worst case scenario. We are internalizing fear. We're internalizing hopelessness. We're internalizing a sense of, I can't do this. If they can't do it, I can't do it. And this will never heal you. That is why I dislike message boards so much. Because if anybody is reflecting back to you, you can't heal. It's too hard to do this. It's impossible to do this. I've tried and I keep failing. You're not going to be able to heal. Whether it's somebody from a message board or whether it is a doctor in a white coat giving you a diagnosis. This is your diagnosis. I've seen this 100 times and there might not be any cure for it. It's really hard to cure, or maybe it's impossible to cure, right? Maybe you're going to have to live with this for the rest of your life. Here's the medications that could possibly help manage it. Sorry, it's just going to continue to get worse and worse. It's progressive. I hate the word progressive. So not only do we lose energy to strangers on the internet telling us that we can't do it, or rubbing their sense of doom and hopelessness and discouragement off onto us, we sometimes get it from the people who we want to be able to trust the most, like people in white coats, telling us something and breaking through this invisible barrier that we all have, right? And we lose our energy to this. We lose our power. We lose our sense of spirit. You lose your spirit whenever anybody doesn't think something's possible for you. Whether it's a stranger and somebody who's in your same similar situation who's suffering, or it's somebody who's meant to help you who tells you that they don't think that you can do this. We lose our power and our spirit to these types of energy drains on our soul, to these types of people in our life. So no matter who causes you to lose energy, whether it's your spouse or your friends, maybe they don't think you can do it. Maybe they only see that it's going to progress and get worse, and they don't really see hope. You're going to be losing your power, or maybe they don't believe you, or they don't support you, or they don't empathize with you, or they don't seem to care about you, or they steal your energy in other ways with petty fighting and with asking you to do a million things. Maybe you have a family that drains your resources and you're always giving, people pleasing to your family and friends, constantly people pleasing. Many of us who are in this situation, we're in this situation because we have been people pleasing our whole life. We've been saying yes when we actually want to say no. And that breaks through an invisible boundary that we have, a barrier that we have. And every time we say yes to something, when we actually mean no, we build resentment inside. We feel tired inside. We feel taken advantage of inside. And the more and more we do this over a lifetime, we have lost so much of our own vital energy to others through weak boundaries that we don't have in place. And we think that we're just being asked to do the housework or the dishes or cook another meal or do this thing when we don't want to do this thing, or help someone move or go to a family function and do all these different things that we don't want to do. We think we're just really being asked to do things. But what we're really being asked to at a subconscious level is to give away our vital energy when we don't want to, is to break a boundary that we have for ourselves, for someone else, to give and serve someone else before giving and serving to yourself. So when we have weak boundaries in place, we say everybody else is more important than me. Everything else is more important than me. My needs don't matter. And when we continually subconsciously tell ourselves that our needs are less than, our needs matter less, we can only get our needs met after we do everything else for everybody else all day long, then it's okay. We're really telling ourselves that we don't matter and that we don't have as much value as everybody else. And when we hold these types of subconscious feelings about ourselves, right, sort of a lower self-esteem, we just have this lower sense of self, we are not standing in our power. And then when we get sick, when we're faced with illness, when we're faced with mental health, when we're faced with challenges, we don't have the self, the sense of self, the adult self that is resourced, that has all of their resources with them in order to heal, all of their energy their vital life force inside them available to heal because we've given it away. We're bleeding, we're hemorrhaging because we want to belong. We want to be validated. We want to be understood. We want connection. We want understanding. We want all these things. So we're making connections with people, random people on message boards who are taking and stealing our power. We're giving our power to other people in white coats because we want them to like us. We want to show that we're a good person and we're good and we're a listener. We do as we're told. We somehow have the message that it's not okay to challenge these things because we don't have a strong enough sense of self. We give our power away to our family and our friends and even acquaintances or people because we want to be liked. We want to belong. We want them to validate us. We want to feel connected. We want to feel valued, understood, heard, loved. And we think that by pleasing and pleasing and pleasing and by pleasing, we're going to get these things in return. But when we don't get them in return, when it's not a fully reciprocal relationship, when it's not 50-50 or 100-100, we end up building feelings of resentment, sadness, loneliness, low self-esteem, isolation. We end up feeling weak and drained of our energy, of our spirit, of our soul, because our needs aren't getting met. But we're the only ones who can meet our needs. We're the only ones who can give ourselves self-love, validation, understanding, encouragement. We're the only ones who can change our identities. We're the only ones who can instill new beliefs, the beliefs that we want. And so a starting place is to get around people who are supporting you, who are giving to you, right? Your family and friends who are giving to you, who are helping you, who are pitching in and saying, I got this, you rest, or I got this, you can do this, who understand what you're going through and are willing to give a helping hand, who are willing to just sit and listen sometimes to what you're going through and reflect it back to you and just tell you that they love you. These are the people that you really need in your life. But you can give that to yourself. You don't need to wait. And more importantly, you want to get around people who inspire you, who are telling you you can heal. If you're getting on message boards because you want the support and you want the encouragement and you want the understanding, you don't go to where all the people are sinking in quicksand. You go to the message boards where the recovery stories are of people who have recovered. Let's get in a group for recovery, for people who have recovered, for people who have accomplished the goals, for people who are on their way, for people who are working hard, for people who aren't bringing you down, but pulling you up, for people who believe in you, for people who are giving you encouragement to take back your power, to call back your spirit, for people who energize you and vitalize you by giving to you, by seeing you, by showing you the way that you can copy, that you can follow. They're a light in the darkness. So message boards can be good. Reaching out for help can be good when you're reaching out for help to people who have a light and are leading you out of darkness into the light, when they're leading you towards energy, towards vitality, towards health, towards wholeness, towards peace, towards love, towards what it is that you want. Follow people. Be around people who are leading you towards what you want, who have all these little lights. Imagine them with all these little candles. You're in the dark and they have the candles and they are leading you down a tunnel towards the bright light, out into the light, so that you can be standing in your own light, having enough of your own personal resources back and power back, this strong sense of self, that you can heal yourself, that you can give yourself love and validation and the resources that you need. So if you're in the darkness, I'm not saying don't reach out for help, but don't give away your power. Don't break boundaries. Don't say yes when you mean no. Don't give your power to people who are just taking and not giving back. Don't get on message boards with people who are sinking in quicksand. Say no. Say no to people who are taxing your resources. Give to yourself first. Follow only the people who are a source of encouragement and light, and who have a candle, and who are leading you and showing you a way out of the darkness into the light, showing you how to resource yourself, showing you how to love yourself, showing you how to hold the light for yourself so you no longer need it, and you have a strong enough sense that you're not hemorrhaging anymore, you're not bleeding anymore, you're not losing your energy anymore. You have your personal boundaries intact. You have a strong sense of self. We're not saying no just because we want to say no. We're saying no if we realize that that would drain us, drain our energy, cause us to feel resentment or taken advantage of. Otherwise, we're saying yes because it causes us to feel good. When we're doing something makes us feel good. It's giving us something to give to someone else. These are good ways and when to say yes. We have to learn the difference, when to have a boundary in place, what you will and won't accept, because it helps build this strong sense of self that you need when you're on a healing journey. So I hope that this video has brought you value. If it has, please subscribe and please hit the like button so that I know, and so I can bring you more videos like this. If you enjoyed this video, go watch this video here. If you want to learn how to work with me, you can check the links in the description box below. I am sending you all my love, and I will see you in the next video.